Championship, according to DraftKings, the next best odds belong to Michigan and Arizona. However, there's a pretty big gap between those three teams and Florida, as you see there on the screen, going from plus 360 to plus 750. Joe Fortenbaugh, Coach Seth Greenberg, back with us here. All right, Coach, I want you to take a look at this bracket, which I know you've memorized from top to bottom here. As we look at the one seeds, I see a lot of 30-win teams, a lot of very good basketball teams. Who is going to be the first one seed that falls in this tournament?
The number one seed that has the greatest chance. Let me ask you, because you guys are all experts at the game of sport. Yes. Stephen A., yourself, Courtney. How many number one seeds lose two starters and make it to the Final Four?
I can't imagine it's many, if any.
All right, so if it's not many, if any, and how many of those number one seeds, like a Duke, is in a bracket that's filled with tradition-rich programs and Hall of Fame coaches and national championship coaches? So as much as I like the job John Shire's doing, and as much as I like Caden Boozer, who stepped in and has done a terrific job, and how I think that Cam Boozer is the most underappreciated player in college basketball, their bracket says with two starters out and Cam Boozer being basically playing Scottie Pippen as their backup point guard, that is the toughest bracket in all of college basketball. I'm not sure that Duke gets past either St. John's or Kansas. So because of the bracket, because of being down two starters, because they don't have a backup point guard, because they're kind of reinventing themselves on the run, I think it's Duke.
You're thinking Duke early, too.
Yeah.
Okay. Joe, how do you see it?
So, Coach makes a lot of good points, and I can see something like that
Most
happening.
times, I'm done for the day.
That's it. We've reached our quota. I do think that surviving the opening weekend, which is highly likely, buys them time to figure out some of their issues heading into the Sweet 16. That said, Florida would be my pick. I know the odds agree with it, but that's not why I want to focus on it. Two things stand out to me that are problematic with the Gators. As hot as they were down the stretch, they are a terrible free throw shooting team. Absolutely terrible. On top of that, they really don't knock down a lot of three-pointers either. Now, that's okay, because they live in the paint, they live down low, and that's where they dominate, that's where they eat, and they get a lot of high-percentage looks. But if you're not knocking down any threes, which is fine, and you're not making free throws, you get jammed up in one of these games where you've got a small lead late, and the opponent starts hack-a-shacking you, you're going to find yourself in a situation where if you don't make those shots, it's going to be a quick exit. On top of that, Sweet 16, they could be projected for that matchup with Vanderbilt, who just took them out.
That's a revenge game. Are you kidding me? That's a revenge game. That's what every player wants. They want to piece of Vanderbilt right now. By the way, their best offense is a missed shot.
Yeah.
Florida, they rebound. They like gobble up rebounds like Pac-Man.
They're fantastic.
Look up what Pac-Man is, kids.
But I would go with the Gators. So he's going with Duke. I would go with the Gators.
The guard play for Florida. Obviously, they don't have Walter Clayton Jr. anymore. Correct. He led them to a national championship last year.
Or Will Richards or Elijah Martin. I mean, they got three guys in the NBA.
So is that a big part of it? Because we've been talking all week about how guard play dominates the NCAA tournament. That's a team that has a long run. Is that why you see it?
It's one of the reasons I very much like seeing Vanderbilt come out of that region at a price of 11-1. Vanderbilt has excellent guard play. They hit their free throws. They hit their threes. They're 31st in defensive efficiency, and they've got a resume of teams they've taken out. They beat Tennessee twice. They beat Florida. They beat Alabama. They beat Kentucky. They beat VCU. They beat St. Mary's. They've beaten a lot of good teams. I think that's a big problem because when your guard play is lacking and you're going to take on a team that's got excellent guard play, that's problematic.
Very cerebral.
I'm a very, very busy man. I got a lot of things to do. I'm not nearly as astute as these two fine gentlemen are when it comes to these NCAA teams. I've only seen a lot of these teams on one or two occasions. Unfortunately for Michigan, I saw both of their losses to Wisconsin and Duke, albeit on neutral courts. I'm not enamored with this team. I'm not enamored with this team as a number one seed. I'm just not. That's how I feel about Michigan. I'm not saying, Coach, that you're wrong about Duke. You make very salient points. Obviously, Joe, you're on point. You know what the hell you're talking about. And Florida is a legitimate point of contention that you brought out there. And we saw them in the SEC tournament. We saw how they lost to Vandy. I get it. I'm just not excited about Michigan. I know they've got size. I know since January 14th, they've shot 37% from three, 59% of his shots from the field. I get it. There's just a bit erratic at times. I don't trust them. And I know that Dusty May can coach, but I just don't trust them right now. And again, I'm looking at their bracket. One could argue it's the weakest bracket. Some would say it's Arizona. Some would say it's Michigan's bracket or whatever. Who do they really have to go through before they run into Iowa State? I'm of the mindset, okay, you know what? Who knows what could happen against Texas Tech, against an Alabama, if you run into them, against a Kentucky, if you run into them. I guess I'm looking at Michigan right now, and I'm thinking about what it takes to win a championship. And I'm thinking about guard play and reliable guard play. And I know this cat Kaysen had gone down, so that compromised their depth at the point guard spot. But I'm just of the mindset when I watch them, they just appeared a bit too erratic that they could get rattled. They're top 5 defensive, offensive efficiency, both. They're going to be there. They're going to be relevant. But when you need, I mean, everybody makes so much noise about this cat Lundenborg, and I know he can play. He's not a scrub. The brother can play. I get it. But I'm just of the mindset that when it really, really counts, Michigan is going to let you down. That's just how I view them. I don't view them as having that dude on their squad that I believe can elevate and help them ascend to the promised land. I just don't.
I think Lundenborg's that guy, but I agree with you, Stephen A. They don't have a backup point guard. They're in a similar situation that Duke's in. LJ Kaysen going down, right? He was actually a dynamic, what I call a ball guard, a scoring point guard. Can jump up and knock down to 3. Elliot Cadeau is a very good player, and he's had a terrific season. But there are times he gets really loose with the ball. And as Stephen A. said, you get loose with the ball in the NCAA tournament against the wrong team. And Iowa State's going to be a problem. Against the wrong team. And all of a sudden, those turnovers are for touchdowns. Those turnovers basically flip a game. And then shot making. I mean, they have enough guys who can make shots. But Lundenborg, he's a 6'9" 3. You saw what Duke did against them. They really, really played, basically drew a circle around that 3-point line.
And I saw
really
nobody else capable of stepping up and answering.
And Purdue
when they did that, I saw no one that was able to say, all right, I got you, homie. Give me the ball. I saw no one on Michigan that was doing that.
Yeah.
No one.
And that's exactly what Purdue did in their Big Ten championship game. They built a wall around the 3-point line. They were really physical. They forced them to shoot a contested shot. They pushed them off the block. So, Stephen A., I think you've got a good choice. I think I've got a good choice. I'm not sure about you.
And there we go. Everybody's a comedian today.
Michigan doesn't have any Big Ten teams on their side of the bracket, which we know they beat 14 Big Ten teams by double digits this year. They won all their Big Ten road games, so maybe that's where their luck runs out. All right, time for a quick take. Prairie View A&M earned its first ever NCAA tournament win last night by beating Lehigh 67-55. HBCU programs are now 2-0 in the NCAA tourney after Howard also advanced out of the first 4. Stephen A., I'm coming to you like I've done every single day this week, asking for how impressed you are about this. I mean, it's pretty significant.
It's very significant, and I'm very, very happy because it means everything to HBCUs. First of all, there's additional fund that comes into your conference. That's number one. Number two, it's a level of notoriety that you otherwise wouldn't get. So being on this national stage, having this kind of exposure is a huge, huge deal for HBCUs, particularly in the age of NIL, transfer portals, and beyond, and the kind of opportunities that could present itself out there, particularly if you have the funding to get it done. It could be of tremendous assistance to HBCUs. So these kind of victories just showing people, guess what? You can go to an HBCU and still get a profile. You can go to an HBCU and still be seen. You can go to an HBCU and still be recognized for being a tremendous athlete with tremendous accomplishments. I think that's an important thing. It's something I certainly push as a graduate of an HBCU out of Winston-Salem State University. It's near and dear to my heart. Everybody knows, that I'm an ambassador for HBCU Week and all of that stuff. It means the world to me. So it's a great, great thing. Props to Howard, props to Prairie View A&M. Really, really appreciate what they've done for HBCUs, and I just can't say enough about it. Very happy for them.
Prairie View goes on to play Florida tomorrow. Definitely a tough draw getting the 1 seed. All right, straight ahead. Which legendary head coach in the East region would we want leading our squad in March Madness? Someone here has an answer that will shock you. And does the addition of Jalen Waddle make the Broncos the favorites in the AFC? A very heated debate coming up next.